Now the question is about USB drives in a parking lot. So let's say you're going home, right? You're coming up, you get in the car, let's go. You're like, oh dang, what the heck is that? What? Oh man, I just got a free drive. Wait, what is this thing? Yo, I got a 64 gig USB. Let's go. The problem with this thing is you don't know where it's been. Yeah, great. You got a 64 gig USB thumb drive. This thing doesn't cost much. You can buy one at the store, get them online. They're really cheap. But if you plug this thing into someone's network and it's got a virus on it that just goes bonkers, you could potentially lose your job and also have legal ramifications too if you take down the network or if there's a security breach. This thing installs a keylogger. I mean, there's just so many bad things that can really happen. So let's say, for example, you pick this thing up in the parking lot. You bring it into your work. You plug it in. You're like, man, I got a free drive. Let's go. We'll see what's on this thing. Let's make it mine, right? You plug it in. It installs a keylogger and then starts messing with your computer. And you're like, dang it. The heck's wrong with my PC? Let me call IT. So you boop, 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 boop. You punch in IT. IT shows up. They're like, hey, what's going on? And you've taken the USB drive out now because you're like, oh, dang, I hope this wasn't it. I want to hide this. So you put it in your pocket so nobody knows, right? So IT shows up at your computer, your workstation. And you tell them what happens. What's the first thing an IT guy does? They log in with their credentials every single time because they've got admin rights. What have you just done with that keylogger that was on this little dude? Now, that person who's got the keylogger running has an admin account, whether it be local rights or be rights, whatever rights that that IT guy has, you've now just passed it on to someone who had a keylogger on this thing. And if it's a really good virus, that keylogger has now transmitted that data to the hacker. So, yeah, if you see one of these dudes in a parking lot, kick it to the curb. Or, there's always an or. If you're just one of those really curious people that has to know what's on it and you're dying, you're like, man, I really want this thing. This is really, really cool. Here's what you can do. You can ask for some free computers on the internet. Look at this. These are all old really machines that I'm going to use for a lab, right? They're junk. This thing here, this one, it's got IDE drives in it. If either one of these machines died, so it's free. They're not going to get plugged into my local area network here at the house. They're going to be on a switch, all self-contained. So if I was to ever find something like this, and I really wanted it, I could come home to my own junk machines I have out here and plug it in. And if it crashed one of them, so I just re-image it, or put another drive in it. It's okay because all my stuff is isolated. It's not plugged into the internet. It's not connected to anything at my house other than each other. So I'm not too worried about it. So that's a way you can, if you really, really, really want to know what's on one of these things, that's the way you can do it. But once again, you got to have really old junk computers, kind of like what I have sitting out here in my garage. Hope that answers the question.